and Marotta. Bickley and Marotta mornings. Arizona sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Just 13 months ago, the Cardinals were 10-2 and the Suns were rolling to a franchise record in regular season victories. And yet today is Black Monday in the Valley, where we hear the sound of championship windows shutting on both sides of the house. Today, the torch has gone out on Lit City, which is why Michael Bidwill's next move is so important. It's not just about fixing his broken, leaky, wayward organization. It's about restoring hope in the Valley, something to prove that history isn't repeating itself before our jaded, skeptical, tired eyes. There needs to be a change at head coach. There needs to be a new GM. There needs to be an industrial-sized cultural overhaul in Arizona, and there needs to be an owner who is willing to look in the mirror and step out of the Bidwill family comfort zone. It starts with phone calls to the two impact coaches, Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh. If they're not interested, fine. Then you move on and hire the best external general manager candidate you can find and let him make the call on the head coach. But the key word is external, because after a season full of dysfunction, dereliction, scandal, and embarrassment, you cannot promote from within. There is nothing worth promoting, and everybody knows it, and so should the owner, especially if he's spending all that time watching film. Bottom line, for all the madness, meddling, and big red bird manure that will forever mark the 2022 season, today is the day this franchise needs to confirm something very important, that they are not the same old Cardinals.
13 months ago,
13
Soldier Field,
months.
December 5th, 2021, after a 33-22 win over the Chicago Bears, and you heard Dave Pasch on the call. With all of the energy and excitement in his voice, the Cardinals were 10-2. What started on December 6th, the very next day, and has continued through that, 5-23?
Five of their last 20. They're 5-18
in their last 23.
In their last 23.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, this is right off the edge of a cliff. And again, this past season is not necessarily Cliff Kingsbury's point or his fault. This is more of a GM failure than anything, in my opinion. This whole thing is kind of just toppled. It's been a house of cards, if you will, but the lack of depth, the draft mistakes, there has been no real free agent. Boom! And so as a result, you got a football team that is circling the drain right now. And now the good news is in the NFL this year, we have seen many examples of quick turnarounds. You go hire the right person with the right fresh eyes and the right perspective,
yes,
and your fortunes can change overnight. Brian Daboll did that by going from Buffalo to New York. Doug Peterson shows up in Jacksonville. Look at them, what they've been able to do. We saw what happened in years and years after Robert Sarver would do the same thing, promoting from within, giving jobs to people who didn't deserve them because they were easy to control and because they didn't cost money. You saw where that got him. It got him in 10 years of dysfunction and quicksand.
Lindsey Hunter. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. So we lived that for a decade. So all these examples are right here in front of Michael Bidwill, and Michael Bidwill is a smart man, which means if he doesn't do this, this is a signal to everybody that this franchise is going back to what it used to be. A little mom and pop shop that doesn't really want to deal with that, of what it takes to compete to win a championship. And that's what people are feeling. That's not just me making that up.
I haven't seen a house of cards collapse like this since Kevin Spacey got canceled, babe.
Since that one woman was thrown in front of the train, babe. Spoiler alert.
That was early in the show. That's when the show was still good.
You're correct. Correct.
That show or our show?
Oh,
Dave.
Oh,
Dave.
We're getting better with age, Dan.
Yeah,
Bickley.
right. No, so listen, I don't want to make this seem that serious, but it really is that serious. It really is. And so to the contrary, here's the thing. Michael Bidwill has been very, very, very close to the vest with all of this. Even the people who generally get the information are like, I have no idea what he's going to do. And so, and maybe that's good, and maybe that's a byproduct of an organization that's gotten, as I said in the blast, very leaky. Very leaky.
Very leaky in certain directions.
Yeah, well, yes, definitely in certain directions, but to the point where J.J. Watt's medical condition got out. Okay?
And that was something that we talked about in real time. And in this year of top-to-bottom dysfunction, I think that one gets glazed over a lot. The reaction from J.J. Watt, the frustration that J.J. Watt felt, and obviously a very trying time for him and his family, a scary time. He didn't feel like he had, in that moment, I don't feel like he had the trust. He had the trust of the people in his organization. Mm-hmm. Like that information was going to get out, so let me get ahead of it and break the news myself.
Right.
That's crap.
Yeah, it is.
And that's also indicative of what the culture is right now.
So Michael Bidwill, we know that according to various reports, he's been exercising due diligence, talking to people, scouting. We know there was a report that he was kind of involved in the NFL's acceleration program, where he was kind of looking at that pool of candidates, of potential GMs. It's really important here. And again, I'm not saying Quentin Harris and Adrian Wilson aren't qualified to do this in a co-way. I'd be very leery of a co-anything, especially at GM.
Absolutely.
You just play that out in your head. Who gets a credit, who doesn't?
Where's that ever worked? Where has it ever been employed?
Right. So if they try to pass that off as the solution to this problem, shut up, Jarrett. Stop yawning.
I wasn't
yawning right at the end of my blast.
I wasn't yawning. I was inhaling the goodness.
Right. Yeah. It's so ridiculous. Sarah's laughing at that. And so this is really kind of what it all comes down to here. Michael Bidwill's got to show he's serious about this, and that the thing that doesn't matter to him most is having this comfy organization where he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Well, it's 8:11 a.m. and nothing yet. Does that mean anything to you guys?
8:11. Last time I checked, that's still not afternoon.
Okay.
2:00 was supposed to be the media availability by Cliff Kingsbury, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
We'll have by noon. We'll know something.